All right, let's talk about something we do 25,000 times a day without a second thought: breathing. We're all obsessed with what we eat, how much we work out, but what about the air? You'd think, right, that to get more energy, you just got to take bigger breaths. But what if I told you the secret to unlocking way more energy, way better fitness, and sharper focus is actually breathing less?
You know, Muhammad Ali had this amazing quote: "It's not the big mountains ahead that get you, it's the tiny pebble in your shoe." And that, right there, is the perfect metaphor for our breathing. For so many of us, our own breathing pattern is that little annoying pebble. It's this habit we don't even see, but it's constantly, quietly holding us back. Every single day, whether you're just sitting at your desk or trying to push your limits.
So let's just tackle the biggest myth in health and fitness head on. You know, the idea that taking huge, deep breaths is going to flood your body with more oxygen. It sounds right, doesn't it? I mean, a study even found that 95% of marathon runners believe this. But here's the kicker: it's just not true. In fact, as you're about to see, it can actually do the complete opposite. Okay, so if gulping down air isn't the answer, then what is? Well, the surprising truth is that it's not about how much you breathe, but how well you breathe. It's all about efficiency. The absolute fittest people on the planet, they've figured this out. They've learned to breathe calmly, quietly, and efficiently. It's a classic case of working smarter, not harder.
Just think about it for a second. Picture someone who's a bit out of shape running for a bus. What do you see? Gasping, right? A heaving chest, loud, desperate breaths. You can practically hear the struggle. Now picture an elite marathoner in the zone. What do you see? It's calm. It's rhythmic. Their breathing is so quiet and controlled it's almost invisible, even when they're pushing their physical limits. That huge difference, it's not about lung size. It's all about efficiency.
So this leads to a really important question, one you should ask yourself. What if you are an overbreather and you don't even know it? Believe me, it is way, way more common than you'd ever guess.
Yeah, there's this hidden habit called chronic hyperventilation. And when you hear that, you're probably thinking of like a full-blown panic attack, right? But that's not what we're talking about here. This is a quiet, subtle, everyday thing. It's the habit of consistently breathing 2, even 3 times more air than your body actually requires. And it's driven by modern life, stress, sitting around too much, even just our comfy, warm houses. So how can you tell if this is you? Let's do a quick check. Do you ever catch yourself breathing through your mouth? Or maybe you wake up in the morning with a really dry mouth. What about sighing? Do you do that a lot? Or how about this? When you're just sitting still, relaxing, can you actually see your chest moving up and down? Or even hear your own breathing? If you're nodding along to even just 1 or 2 of these, chances are pretty high you're an overbreather. And trust me, it's impacting your energy and health.
Okay, let's get into the really cool part, the science. Because this is where the big aha moment happens. See, we've all been taught this simple story. Oxygen is the good guy, the hero. And CO2, carbon dioxide, that's the bad guy, just a waste product we need to get rid of. But that story is missing the most important character.
Check out this number, 95 to 99%. What is that? Well, that is how saturated your blood is with oxygen, pretty much all the time. That's right, your blood is already almost completely full. So, taking bigger, deeper breaths to get more oxygen. It's literally like trying to pour more water into a glass that's already filled to the brim. It just spills over. It doesn't do anything.
So that raises the big question, right? If our blood is already packed with oxygen, why do we get tired? Why do we get out of breath? The real issue isn't getting oxygen in, it's getting it out. It's about releasing that oxygen from your blood so it can get to your muscles and your brain. The fuel is there, it's in the tank, but it's trapped.
And the solution, the magic key, comes from this amazing scientific principle called the Bohr effect. And what it tells us is that carbon dioxide, the waste gas, is actually the key that unlocks oxygen from your red blood cells. Without enough CO2 around, that oxygen just stays glued to your blood cells, and your muscles and brain end up starving for fuel, even though it's floating right by them.
So here's how it's supposed to work. Think of it like this. Your red blood cells are like little delivery trucks, all loaded up with oxygen. They drive down to your muscles. Now your muscles have been working, so they've produced some CO2. The CO2 in the muscle acts like a signal, telling the truck,
"Hey, drop the package here." The truck releases the oxygen and bam, your muscles get the fuel they need. So you see, CO2 isn't waste at all. It's the essential delivery driver.
And this is the core of the problem. When we overbreathe, when we gasp and pant, we're blowing off way too much of that precious CO2. We get rid of the delivery driver. This actually tricks our brain into thinking we need even more air, so we breathe harder, creating this awful, vicious cycle. The result? That door for oxygen delivery slams shut. Your blood vessels actually tighten up, and you feel tired and breathless, precisely because you're trying to breathe so hard. It's a total paradox.
So how can you figure out how good your body is at using CO2? How sensitive are you to it? Well, there's a super simple, really powerful test you can do literally right now. It's called the Body Oxygen Level Test, or your BOLT score. And it's a quick measurement of how your body responds to CO2 building up. Want to try it? It's easy. Just sit still for a moment, take a normal silent breath in through your nose, and a normal silent breath out through your nose. Then, pinch your nose closed and start a timer. Now, here's the most important part. You're going to hold it only until you feel the very first definite desire to breathe. It might be a little swallow or a tiny twitch in your throat. That's it. That's when you stop the timer. This is not a competition to see who can hold their breath the longest. When you do breathe again, it should be a calm, normal breath, not a big gasp. The number of seconds you got, that's your BOLT score. So what does that number actually mean? Well, it's a fantastic snapshot of your breathing efficiency. If you scored less than 10, your breathing is pretty inefficient. A score between 10 and 20 is really common, but it shows there's a lot of room to improve. Now, if you're above 20, you're on a great track. And the goal, the elite level, is a score of 40 or more. That's where you have that super efficient oxygen delivery like a top athlete. A lower score just means you're more sensitive to CO2, which is why you might feel breathless or tired more often.
Okay, so you've got your score. The big question is, how do you make it better? The first step you can take is, by far, the most powerful one. And the best part? The solution is totally free, it's simple, and it's something we were all originally designed to do. Here it is. The single most important habit you can possibly adopt is to just breathe through your nose, all day and all night. The difference between nose breathing and mouth breathing is just, it's night and day. Your nose is this incredible filter. It warms the air, it humidifies it, plus, and this is amazing, it releases a gas called nitric oxide. This stuff actually helps clean the air and boosts your oxygen uptake by 10 to 20%. When you breathe through your mouth, you get none of that. You're completely bypassing the system.
You know, there's a reason for the old saying, the nose is for breathing, the mouth is for eating. This isn't some new age wellness fad. It's fundamental biology. Our ancestors knew this instinctively. Breathing through your mouth triggers a low-level stress response, fight or flight. But breathing through your nose, that tells your nervous system to be calm and focused. It's just how we're wired.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. What if the biggest leap forward for your health isn't some new diet or a crazy workout plan, but just retraining something you do all day, every day? What if it's just about rediscovering how to breathe? The first step is just to notice. For the rest of today, just pay a little attention. Are you breathing through your mouth or your nose? The power to change your energy, your focus, your entire well-being, it's literally right under your nose.